What's up, everybody, and welcome in to the College Basketball Countdown. I am your host, Jeff Nadeau, a.k.a. the big man on campus, and we're here live on Pub Sports Radio. It is January 13th, 2024, and we got a bevy of games per usual here on a Saturday. We'll also delve a little bit into the NFL playoffs here at the end, but it's basketball from here on out into April, and it looks like another exciting card here on a Saturday. Conference play is in full effect. I hope you're all having a great week. I'm ready to jump into it, and I'm excited. Let's say hello to some people. Adam, Raymond, Billy, all the guys in the chat, thank you for being here. If you are here and you are enjoying our content, please make sure you hit that like button. Make sure if you're new to this channel, Pulse Sports Radio, you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you show some love to all the shows here on the channel. A lot of good stuff going on. Really, any type of show you want, whether it's football, basketball, they got all sorts of stuff here on Pub Sports Radio. What we do here on a Saturday, go through 5 or so games, then we'll open it up to your questions. We'll go through some other games. I'll give you my thoughts, try to go through all sorts of different things. That's what we do here. We make it all about you. So let's start it out. By the way, this week, I have to say I'm feeling a little bit better. I haven't been feeling great, but I'm feeling a bit better, knock on wood. Hopefully, now that it's Saturday, we can all cash here today. Last night, I had to get an NBA win. Shout out to me, the Nuggets. Easy winner against the Pelicans. I'll take it. Didn't like much in college, but I wish I would have played college because all my leans would have came in. I loved Iowa. I liked Dayton. I liked Youngstown. But I liked doesn't mean I should have played or I didn't play. I didn't play him, so it doesn't matter. Kelly McGinnis, what's up? King U, what's going on? Joey Harb, what's up? Julian, shout out to all you guys. Shout out to you guys. Billy, feel better, man. Hopefully you do. All right, let's get into it. I want to start it out. Houston, and look, I don't care about times. I just throw 5 games up. I don't know what times these games play. I just know they all go within an hour and a half from now. I don't know when this game starts. I don't care. I'm looking at the game itself. Houston, TCU. This number has come down, and it should have. This total has come down, and it should have. If you were betting these games, guys, an hour or two beforehand, you're not going to win. Okay, if you like TCU, you missed on it. And this is the challenge of me doing this show at 10:30 on a Saturday. Now, the real show would be, not that this is a real show, but a really good show would be me sitting here betting these games right and open. However, we're not. We're here at 10:30 on Saturday, every Saturday. So I look at this game and I think to myself, how do these teams score, right? Because I look at TCU, when they play defense, very similar to how Houston had to play against Iowa State. Two similar defenses, Iowa State and TCU. And the question is, can Houston find a way to score against this drop kind of coverage? And that was a problem against Iowa State. They had a major issue. They were miserable in that effect. They weren't good in ball screens. They were just kind of a mess. But then you look at TCU, they're kind of hyper, up and down, transition reliant, and Houston ain't going to let you play in that way. They're not going to go up and down. They're one of the slowest paces in the country. And this is the interesting thing between these two teams. Both these teams, one wants to go very fast, one wants to go really slow. And generally in these types of games, Houston is going to find a way to win them. Houston's off a loss, so we have to expect a better game. Throw in the fact that I think when the rubber meets the road, is TCU as strong a defense as Iowa State's? No. At this price, I'm almost looking to back Houston. But I'll tell you what, TCU's legit. It's a home game for this group. I just look at this game and I think, wow, I think both these teams really struggle to score. And it looks like the market agrees because this number was up towards 140. It's now at 136.5. The undervalue is gone in this game. That said, I felt like this was first 65 wins. Like I could see this game being, I don't know, 66, 61, something like that. I still think there could be some value in the under here. I don't know where the offense comes from in this game because I think both teams are really equipped to stop their opponents. And you look at TCU. I mean, they haven't exactly shot the ball well to begin with. This team's only shooting 33%, I want to say, from three. It's just not good enough. So for me, I still leaned under at this price, and I kind of like Houston. I think they find a way. I don't expect them to lose two in a row. I think they bounce back here, and I think they're more able to navigate this defense as opposed to TCU navigating Houston's defense. Throw in as well, Houston, you're not going to have like when they played Iowa State was a really good rebounding team as well. I think that's kind of how it allowed them to stay in the game. I don't know if TCU can do that sort of thing. So I'm going to lean Houston. I'm going to still lean under. The play to me is the under. I'm still going to lean on the under in this game just because I think both teams struggle to score. Do I think it's first to 55? No, it's not going to be a game like that. But I think it's 67, 62. Like I think that's probably where this game lies. All right. Games at 5 Central. Doesn't help me. I'm not on Central. I guess it's 6 o'clock Eastern. Thank you. Again, I don't. It's your job to figure out when these games start. I don't look too much into it. But Nate Dogg, what's up? Raymond, what's happening? Junior Duanos, what's up? If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them. We'll star them. We'll make sure we get back to them here. Please do me a favor and ask any questions that you might have. And if you asked them earlier, ask them again so we don't have to go up and look through them. Okay, next one. Temple, North Texas. Temple, North Texas. Game kind of off the beaten path. However, it's a game close to me. Okay, I know a lot about this Temple team. Okay, first of all, you got to go on the road. You got to go all the way down to Denton, which is in Texas. Far road trip. This is the difference in conference realignment. Temple now has to go on the road. Now, they were going to Houston, so it's not an incredibly difficult trip. But going to Houston and going to Denton, a little different, right? Going to San Antonio, a little different than Denton. Denton is small little town. You got to take a bus to it. It's a little bit different. Throw in the fact that this is one of the worst offenses in the country. Temple is lost without a paddle on offense. They have no playmakers. This is not a team brimming with confidence right now. And now you got to go down and take on one of the best defenses in the country. And listen, I know Grant McCaslin's gone from North Texas, but this is still a very, very good defense under Ross Hodge. You look at their last 4 games, have held all opponents under 63 points. And that includes Tulane, one of the better offenses in this conference. They held Tulane to 56. This offense is not going to score in this game. I don't know how you find a way to figure out this North Texas defense. Throw in the fact that North Texas is ungodly slow. Ungodly. They're going to literally walk the ball up the court. Walk the ball up the court. And I think one of the positives for Temple is defensively. I think they're decent, I guess you could say. But I think this game finds itself in some low annals, really. I think North Texas can maybe get to 70, but I don't think Temple gets anywhere near 60. I think this is like 67, 56, something like that. I think this is low 120s. 128.5 is too high. I know nowadays we want to bet every game over the total, but Temple is bad on offense. And this North Texas team, I mean, they're not exactly ideal either on offense. Throw in the fact that they play super slow and they're an elite defensive team. I think you can make a strong case for a team total under with Temple. That might be the best way to go with this. Obviously, those aren't always games that I can applicably go to quickly. But if I could find a team total under in this game, I'd probably buy that. I like the spot. I think Temple struggles mightily to score the basketball. They just don't have a lot of talent on this roster. They went out and tried to get it on the transfer market. They have a first-year coach. There's just not a lot to really like about Temple. Temple's team total in this game is 57.5. That was about where I had them, 55. I think there's still a little value on that under. Craig Wood says Denton is Dallas adjacent. Yeah, that's not the point, though. They still have to go to Dallas, get on a bus and travel to it. It's not something you can fly into. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Then again, I mean, you kind of have to do that always, but still, it's not in your proper. You got to get on a bus and travel. But either way, it's a difficult thing to do. And it is what? I mean, it's still pretty far from let's say the Dallas, if you will. What? Who cares? You still have to get on a bus and go, and it is what it is. Yeah, I'm going to lead under in this game. Under 128.5. Not Flush Allen, what's going on? New Quirker, how are you? Woo Rizza, like that Seton Hall plus 4.5. Interesting. I'll get into that game in a bit. Brendan Kavanaugh, is Rosa the best pizza in America? Rosa. I've never eaten there, actually. I know right where it is. They're actually well regarded in this area. They're from the same family that I'm close to, as far as a lot of the same families from Italy are from the same area, and they all know each other. I have never been to Rosa, though. I can't comment on that. Maybe I should. I'm actually thinking about starting a new TikTok account where I just eat different things. Because, again, I'm quite successful, and every time I create a TikTok. So maybe I'll review them at some point. I've never eaten at Rosa, so I'll have to let you know, Brendan. All right. Kentucky, Texas A&M. I got to tell you guys, last week when I was on this show, Kentucky was playing a very similar game on the road against Florida. And Kentucky found a way. I don't know how to bet against or on Kentucky at this point. I just don't. Because this spot screams A&M by 10. They just look great. They go up 19-7, and they just cruise. That's how this game should play out. A&M's been miserable. This is just, and now they're a 3-point favorite against Kentucky. The game doesn't make sense. This is your stone cold A&M spot. But it was a stone cold Florida spot last week, and Kentucky defied that. Can they go on the road again and win? And you look at the box scores when Kentucky play, they don't even make sense. Like Kentucky last week against Florida was 5 for 20 from 3, and they still won. What gives here with this team? I don't know how to gauge Kentucky. Like, they're just rolling. Their offense has been rolling regardless. That said, I mean, like, this number's just everything you want to think. You want to take Kentucky, but the number tells you something different. And remember, this number was 1.5. This number opened 1.5. It's been bet up as high as 3.5. But I still would lean A&M because I think we're going to see the whole world say, Kentucky, they're 3-point dogs. They win every game, just like I've just told you. Something just tells me A&M doesn't miss today. They just don't miss. And I'm going to give them one more shot here. I'm going to fade Kentucky one more time. Because this is what I do. I would never be on Kentucky in this game. I just can't do it. Recency bias. Kentucky defied last week the thought. I like A&M here. And again, this number is really just about the spot. Here's something to keep in mind. A&M, number 1 in the country in offensive rebound percentage. Number 1. I think that's a big thing in this game. Big thing. Kentucky, good defensive rebounding team, but still, number 1. It's going to create a lot more possessions. This Kentucky team, not a great defense without fouling. I think A&M gets the job done. I think they win by 10. I think they win going away. And remember, Florida was winning last week. They blew the game. So I think Kentucky finally stubs their toe on the road. But it's up to 3. That sucks. This is the problem when I play these games at the time I do. Because this one, I believe, is an early start. I think this game starts at, I want to say noon. Let me double check there. 2 o'clock. Okay, so we got time. I would really – listen, here's what I would do. I'm going to just say it. I would probably find a way to just bet the money line in this game. Lay a little juice. Because I don't want to be sitting there when they win by 2. Like, that would be sick to me. then again, I think they win by 10. So A&M gets the job done here. Put it that way. LSU, Auburn. I don't play a lot of underdogs at this price in conference play because generally when you set a number at 13 and a half, 14, 18, there's a reason for it. I think Auburn's a little overvalued here. Listen, I like Auburn. I think Auburn could be a top 5 team. That said, I think LSU's pretty good too. And I think LSU has some ability to stay in this basketball game. I really do. One of the glaring Auburn problems is they are another group that cannot defend without fouling. They put their opponent on the line a lot. When you play LSU, that's problematic. Those teams downhill, like to get to the line, create at the hoop. You look at this total, 153. It's leaning on a higher scoring game. Look, I'm not going to tell you LSU is a stalwart defensively, but I'll tell you what, I think they have the guys to stop Auburn a little bit. They're a big team. They can match up with Auburn. Something just told me this number was too high. I think Auburn's a little bit overvalued here. 13 and a half, that's high in a conference game. I can understand 8.5, 9, but 13 and a half? LSU's playing well, too. They've won 4 straight games. Beat A&M. Beat Vandy the other night. The problem that LSU has is anytime they step up, they've stubbed their toe. Lost to Dayton. Lost to Q's. Remember, the LSU-Dayton game, they should have beat Dayton. They were winning the whole game. They blew a huge lead. And that was early in the season. But they beat a good Wake team, beat a good North Texas team, and beat A&M the other night, going away. They were really good defensively in that game. And also remember, under Matt McMahon, they're going to force turnovers. That said, this is an Auburn team that's quite good at not turning the ball over. It's going to be a good back and forth. I just felt like this was too many points. You want to throw a 9 out there? So much. So be it. But 13 and a half, 14 seems a bit too high for me. So I'm going to lean on LSU. It's time to, if you're Matt McMahon, it's time to put a good performance in a game like this. You know, because I think Nate Cerna is right. Generally, LSU would keep the game close in the first half and then they get blown out in the second half. I think that's your worry here, but I think LSU has too many playmakers for that to happen. You know, I think I just feel like they can stay in the game with the Will Bakers and the Jordan Wrights, the Jalen Cooks of the world. And Jalen Cook is back. He had 28 the other night. Having him in the lineup is huge. The Tulane transfer. He's a really good player, their best player. So getting him inserted back into the lineup, very helpful. All right, one final game. Penn State, Purdue. Penn State, Purdue. Here's the thing. Penn State sucks, okay? They do. Purdue's really good. They're a huge favorite. I just looked at this game and I felt like there was going to be a lot of points scored in this one. Look, we know Purdue is generally going to put up 85. That's kind of what they do. They're off a loss. They've had a lot of time to stew about it, and they're at home here. Look, they're going to score effectively against Penn State because all Penn State's going to try to do is, you know, generally what they always try to do, force turnovers. And we've seen that Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer are very capable of handling a press. They've seen it before. They're not freshmen anymore, right? They're off a loss. They're going to be able to disseminate through this defense. And once you can get through the first line of pressure, this Penn State team can't do anything. They're very undersized. Zach Edey's going to have a big night. This should be a nice bounce back for Purdue. Penn State not good. That said, I actually think Penn State is a pretty good offensive team. I think they can create and get to, let's say, 70 in this game. I think this is like a 88-72 type of game. I think this is a up and down game. I think Purdue will be quite efficient because generally if you can get past the first line of pressure against Penn State, you're going to eat them up. Penn State hasn't shot the ball well, which here's the issue. Here's why Penn State sucks. And this is why I hate coaches like this. Penn State is top 100 in three-point attempts to field goal attempts. They shoot a lot of threes, but they're shooting like 33% from three. Just not a good way to score. They're not even shooting 33%. They're shooting 29.7%. Problematic. I could see this game being like the Michigan State game where they just get blown the fuck out. That's it. I think they can get to like 70 here, and I think this game will go way over. Open 155. I don't know why this game was bet lower. Who cares? I don't really care much about that. I think Purdue bounces back and has a big offensive night here. Like I said, 88-72, something like that. 85-73. I could see that. Something like that. Over 152. All right. Purdue could get them in the first half. Sure. Purdue leaves backdoor wide open. They did it against Illinois. By the way, last week, if you had that game, Purdue-Illinois was a Friday night of last week. It's a rough beat if you had Purdue. Purdue first half. Yeah, you expect them to kind of come out here on a whim after a loss. I could see that. All right, let's open it up to questions. Feel free to drop any questions that you might have. And we'll just kind of surgically go through them. Try to get it right quick, right to the T. I already talked about A&M. Utah State, UNLV, that screamed UNLV. Utah State's been kind of rolling, if you will. We know they obviously beat Colorado State. Then they come back and blow out Wyoming. Now you got to go on the road and take on a UNLV team that's just kind of been sitting there playing good basketball for the most part. And I know they lost San Diego State, but overall they've been pretty solid. Beat a good Hofstra team, beat New Mexico on Tuesday. This is a circle the drain spot for Kevin Kruger and crew. UNLV money line. Good play today. Can you deal with great Osborne? That's kind of your big question. This isn't a great UNLV defense, but I think Caleb Boone could do a nice job on him down low. I like UNLV in that game. All right, let me I'm all over the place here. Let me go back to my chat here. Sorry. Do me a favor, bro. Don't delete them when we go over them. Just keep them starred, just so I have them. Because there's sometimes they have multiple questions. Hold on, let me go back here. Stacks play of the day is Vanderbilt plus 10. It's interesting. I looked at that one and I agreed a little bit. I'll tell you this, though. You could have got a little bit better number. And I think the concern is Vandy's offense. I mean, this team just looks lost on offense. They just look lost. And I'm not an Ezra Mansion fan. I mean, I know he's improved a little bit, but there's just not a lot of talent on that team. And you can get really bogged down against Ole Miss. I mean, they are a really good defensive team. They have been really impressive. And I'll tell you what, they look really impressive on offense the other night as well. I am not looking to jump in front of them right now, which I guess you are. I could see it. But I would have liked a better number there. A lot of people asked me about New Mexico, I saw, and San Diego State. This game is going to jump off at 11 o'clock, I believe, West Coast time, which is interesting. I think this game starts at 2 Eastern. So it's either 12 local or 11 local. Either way, whatever. I think they're in mountains, so it'd be noon Eastern. That's an early start for two West Coast teams. One thing I noticed about New Mexico, very similar to Grand Canyon, who gave San Diego State a lot of issues. San Diego State just couldn't defend Grand Canyon in that game. And that's concerning to me in this game. New Mexico also at home, the Pit, an elite home court advantage. And New Mexico has just a bunch of creators just all over the floor, a bunch of great guards. I like San Diego State a lot. I don't think this is a vintage State defense. I like Jalen Ledee, but at times they've kind of went in the mixer with just scoring the basketball efficiently. I like New Mexico there a little bit at home. I think that's a good spot. New Mexico money line. I don't want to lay 2. Good backcourt for them. Seton Hall. Yeah, okay, that was one. Seton Hall Butler. So this number opened 3. It's up to 4.5. I would have been on Butler in this one. I just don't bet road teams, really. It's just not something I'm interested in doing much, especially in the Big East and Big Ten. It's just so hard to win on the road in the Big East. Seton Hall's been rolling. I get it. But they were in a similar spot on this show a couple of weeks ago where I played Xavier. I think there's a similar game. I think Butler will find a way to win by 7 to 10 points. In Seton Hall, it will come down to what it always comes down to with the Hall. Can they score efficiently? And they have, but if you remember back to that Xavier game, they didn't. They couldn't make anything. They were completely lost on offense. And that's kind of how I see this game going. I don't look at it a lot from a schematic standpoint. I just look at the number and say, that one just doesn't make a lot of sense, and it screams Butler. I like Butler here. Teron Long says, you're the man, they do. I like Missouri at home against South Carolina. Another one that's been bet up. And for good reason. I agree with you. I think Missouri's in a great spot. South Carolina coming off getting just destroyed against Alabama. And now you got to go on the road to Columbia. They are kind of reeling Missouri. They've lost 5 of 6. The only win was against Central Arkansas. I don't know what this team is. However, these are two teams that you're not running to back right now, right? One team looked lost the other night. The other team is just a mess. Again, I would agree that Mizzou's probably the play and just having to win the game. Am I running to lay 3 points? No. I think there are a bunch more games on this card that I would look into. I don't really want to guess on whether I think Mizzou will bounce back. They should, but is this team talented? I'm not really sure. I like Sean East, good player, but they have not looked good. They have really been lost defensively as well. Billy Friedrich. I like Wofford Citadel over 144, UMass minus 4.5, and Monmouth. Wonder if you could touch on your thoughts on any of those. Pretty down and out games there, for being honest. Monmouth, obviously better than last year, but now they're going to go play Charleston. I think Charleston's in a good spot due to the fact that Monmouth wants to kind of force turnovers. They don't turn the ball over. Pat Kelsey's team's very good. They're great on the glass. They've been kind of just rolling in this conference. I don't really have any interest in betting into Monmouth right now. Sorry. Not something I think you can have success with long term. As far as UMass, I don't know. I mean, I didn't have much on them. I don't know who they play. GW, I think. No, Rhode Island. I'm sorry. Yeah, Rhode Island stinks. They're another team that stink. But they seem to always get up for these games in the Ryan Center. They played very well there against St. Joe's a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. This game seemed like kind of a flip to me. I feel like if you can kind of zone UMass, you could probably have some success. I didn't have much in those games there. Thoughts on Kent State against CMU? Yeah, Kent State, another team, always pretty good in the MAC, but they're not playing well this year. They've started out 1-2 in this conference. Didn't look good the other night against Toledo. They're just not as talented as they were last year. They don't have their high-level guard they had. I forget his name last year. What was his name? Sincere Carey. Malik Jacobs is gone, their best defender. They've had issues on that end. CMU, though, is not a team that's really going to bother them too much. Should bounce back here at home. I would expect that to happen. Thoughts on Alabama, Mississippi State? Yeah, like Mississippi State. I think they get 2 big wins at home in a row. I think they're very good. Tolu Smith, I had them the other night. Mississippi State against Tennessee. Tolu was electric. He was huge in the game. I like this Mississippi State team. They are long and lengthy. They're great at home. And Alabama is not as good defensively as they've been in like last year. They're not good on that end. I like Mississippi State. Morehead State against SAU Edwardsville. Yeah, look, in that conference, I'm always going to lean Morehead. They're better than everyone else. That's a bad conference, man, the OVC. That is a real bad conference. Outside of Morehead, there is nothing there. Belmont's gone. Murray State's gone. All those teams are gone. If Morehead doesn't get to the tournament, they only have themselves to blame. The OVC stinks as a conference. Southern Miss Troy. Listen, my man, I know guys like look, over the years, I've always been one of these people that go into these conferences and try to find value, but I don't bet the Sun Belt. I don't know why anyone would have any interest in betting this game today. It's bottom 150 teams playing each other. Even when I bet, and not that I don't bet, I love mid-majors and low majors, but even when I bet that stuff, like every night, I didn't bet these games. I hate the Sun Belt. I hate it. I don't bet it. I don't care about it. I don't look at it. I just don't bet it. So I apologize, but I am not on this game. Nor do I want to venture an opinion on it. Do I have any thoughts on Indiana State? Oh, the Sycamores, one of the best teams in the Missouri Valley. And look, I think the Sycamores got slapped back to reality the other night against Drake, who is the legit team in the Missouri Valley. That said, I still think Indiana State's really good. I think they're going to have a field day against Belmont. Belmont can't stop anybody. This defense is really bad, really bad. I think Robbie Avila can have a big game here. But that said, I think issues remain with Indiana State on defense. I like the over in this game. I like the over. I think this game's going to be 160s, but this could be like 90 to 80. I could see that. Up and down. High-scoring game here. Do I have anything on Iowa State against Oklahoma State? Yeah, it seems like a little high to me. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. This is a huge letdown game if you're Iowa State. And we've seen over the years Mike Boynton teams have surprised in these spots. I can see it. I thought Oklahoma State was pretty good against Baylor. And Baylor's good. Look, this is not a great team, the Cowboys, but they've always thrived in these spots, it seems like. And they have some talent. This is not a vintage Oklahoma State team, but they still have some decent players. Javon Small is a good player, transferred to ECU. Seemed a little high to me for a conference game. Virginia Wake, any thoughts? What's the thought I always have on Virginia? If you could shoot the basketball, you could beat Virginia. Wake could shoot the basketball. So yeah, I'm always going to think that. I'm always going to think that. That said, Wake's a favorite, and they should be. Wake's good. I mean, and they're a good favorite because they do everything well on offense. They're great from the free throw line, 80%. They don't turn the ball over. They're just a good offense. They lost last time out, and they're off a loss. That's a big. They lost last time out, and they're off a loss. That makes sense. They lost last game out, so I'd figure we'd get a better bounce-back performance. Virginia has been a complete fade on the road. It's a pretty good play there. Let me just kind of go up through some other ones that I had an interest in that I'll just kind of throw out there. Arizona, Washington State. I saw this number dropped to 9 at one point. Sharp money came in and took Wazoo. I backed Wazoo the other night as a premium play against USC. Won the game outright as an underdog. I like this Wazoo team. This seems like kind of an interesting spot for Arizona. Are they going to roll every game in conference? Of course not. This is a Washington State team that's going to take the air out of the ball, make you walk the ball up the court, kind of get you off your game a little bit. They're a great rebounding team, and they do a lot of things that I like. Very good defensive team. Very good. And understand this, guys. What's one way that Arizona overwhelmed their opponents? Up and down, very frantic, and they're huge. Washington State is a big team as well. They are 4th in the country in average height. Very big. Very big. Kyle Smith has a good team there. They got a couple of real big kids on that team. Something tells me that's a little bit of an interesting spot late night. Washington State. Remember, the Cougars. Lot of questions here. I'm not going to get to all of them here. it's always just people commenting on what they like too. So I kind of miss out on some of these. Someone asked about Samford today against VMI. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Samford team total over, whatever it is, that game is going to be wild. I think Samford could get to 100. VMI is awful. VMI is real, real bad. And Samford quietly is one of the best offensive teams in the country. Nobody talks about them. By the way, guys, just to throw this out there, Samford has not lost a game since November 10th. Think about that. November 10th against Virginia Commonwealth. They're top 10 in pace. They're top 5 in three-point shooting. And VMI is a disaster on defense. Disaster. This one's going to get ugly. I'll go 98-70. See, I'd probably lay the points. It's hard to lay those kind of points, but Samford's good, man. And that number was 23. It's up to 24.5. So sharp money's coming in and taking Samford. They might get to 100. All right. Do I have any thoughts on the Bonnies? I actually really like the Bonnies this year. I'm a big fan of Mark Schmidt's team. I think they went out and really refueled in the transfer portal. But I didn't know what that performance was the other night against Richmond. Now they get Fordham. Yeah, Fordham can't score. So they should bounce back there. Didn't have much in that one, though. Hey, guys, do us a favor and take a split second and tap that like button. Yes, please hit that like button. Always important. Make sure you show love to Pub Sports Radio. They're always putting out a lot of great sports content, a lot of good hosts, a lot of good people on this channel. So make sure you support the chat or support the chat, support the shows, all that stuff. Craig Wood says, Creighton will either win by a landslide or will lose outright. Creighton sucks to bet on. Exactly. And St. John's is going to zone them, which probably not a great idea. That said, though, how do you bet them, right? Because Creighton could go 15 for 23 from 3 and just blow you the fuck out. I would lean Creighton in that game. Something tells me they just don't miss today from 3. I don't know. Something just tells me that. But he's right. They're very one-dimensional. All right. Thank you, Joey Hart. Thank you for watching. Do I have any thoughts on Boston College Syracuse? Syracuse plays North Carolina. I'm sure what you're talking about. That said, if we're talking about Syracuse, North Carolina, yeah, I lean North Carolina a little bit there. I didn't look much into that game. It was a bit high of a number. Syracuse is getting better. They're getting more consistent, but I didn't have much in that game. Let me get into some NFL playoffs here because I kind of want to just go through all these games. I don't know if you have all these games. Do we have all these games or no?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. All right, we'll start with Saturday. Cleveland and Houston. Here's my issue with this game. I love Houston. They're at home. It's going to be a great atmosphere down there. It's been a long time since they've been in the playoffs. When was the last time they played? 2016 or 29? It's crazy. It's been a while. They're at home. They got their guy CJ. Good defense. D'Amico Ryans has been great. Here's the issue, though. What is the benefit of taking Houston? You're not getting 3. So you're in that no man's land. They essentially need to win the game. They also, again, defensively really struggled against Cleveland in the first game. Joe Flacco was great in that game, threw for like almost 400 yards. But it's interesting because they scored 22 points and Davis Mills was the quarterback for Houston. I think it goes a lot different here. I think this number is probably about right. I didn't think there was much value in the game. Look, if I could get a 3, I'd lean Houston, but I still want 3.5 because I don't want to push if it falls 3. And I asked myself, do I wonder if Houston is just kind of happy to be there? That's my problem. And I'm not getting the value of having at least a field goal to fall back on. I have to feel like Houston's going to win. And do I actually think when the rubber meets the road, they're going to win? No. But if they do, I'd be very happy. I like CJ Stroud. I think they're just kind of a group that will get to the playoffs. They'll probably lose. Then next year, they'll be very well regarded. They'll go out and make some moves. I like that offense a lot. But that's a great defense for Cleveland. Joe Flacco's playing really well. And they made it clear a couple of weeks ago they couldn't stop Cleveland. So I'm going to lean on Cleveland. At 2.5, I'll lean Cleveland. But if it was 3.5, I'd lean Houston. It could be a field goal game. Look at this. Sean Higgs, $48. What a weird number. But we love it. By the way, shout out to 48, the first 48, the best television show on the planet. Do we know? I tweeted this the other day. We don't give the first 48 enough love. The first 48 might be the best show on television that's lasted over 20 years. Is there a more satisfying show than the first 48? Truly. A murder happens, or multiple murders happen. They then take you through the process of solving the murder. There's no fluff. There's no bullshit. There's no made-up stories. It's just good, solid television. Seriously, is there a better show on TV than this? It's not goofy, fake crap like Law and Order. It's real-life people, real-life neighborhoods, solving real-life crimes. I love it. I think it's the best show on TV. That said, hit the damn like button. Freaking Nate always does a great job. Like you haven't made money telling him the like is free. Agreed. Sean Higgs, $48. You the man. Thank you for supporting Posters Radio. So there you go, Jeff Slaughter. It was worth it, the show today. We made money. I think I've seen every first 48 episodes. It's all about. I never skip them. And they're still putting it out 20 plus years later. The 20th anniversary is this year. All right, next game. Who do we have? Oh, this game, the cold weather game. So obviously the narrative, all you're going to hear, and look, shame on the NFL for this peacock bullshit. Fuck that. I pay enough for fucking cable. I pay enough for Watch ESPN and Paramount and all this shit that I have to pay for. I'm not buying peacock. I'm just not doing it. Fuck off. That said, it's going to be minus 30 with the wind chill. It's going to affect everybody. It's not going to just affect one team because they're from Miami. Let's remember, not everybody in the Miami Dolphins is from Miami. They're probably used to warm weather, and they like warm weather. Who doesn't? That said, it's going to affect everybody. The bigger issue as well is the wind. It's going to be incredibly windy. These games just don't go over. I mean, you look at the coldest weather games. Think of the top 10 coldest games in the history of the NFL. All of them went under 40. I would just lend to that. Whole world to be on the under, but how do you score in these games? Plus, throw in the fact that it's not like Kansas City's been an electrifying offense by any means. I also really like Kansas City's defense. I think this is first of 20 wins. And guys, remember this. We've seen Kadarius Toney in a normal weather game not catch the football. What's he going to do in this type of game? Christ. Big game for Pacheco. I agree. Running backs could eat tonight. A-Chain, he could have a big game as well. Anything above 42, I really like. Under. Unsolved Mysteries opened the door for first 48? No, it didn't. Unsolved Mysteries is conspiracy theories. First 48 is real-life murder prosecutions. I couldn't disagree more. The first 48 is a transcendent show that made its own way into television. Nothing else made it anything. That said, I haven't watched that in a long time. I like rushing overs in cold weather. It's very simple. I agree, Steve G. I think you're 100% on the money with that. Like I said, A-Chain could have a big game. Pacheco have a big game. I still like the under 43.5. Why is this number 43.5? Can anybody explain that? Have we seen these games that are fucking ridiculously cold? I don't get this. Is Sirianni on the next episode of the first 48 if the Eagles lose to the Bucs? Possibly. So yeah, these two games, lean Cleveland, lean under in the cold game. Sunday games. What do we got? Can Miami stop Kelsey? Probably not, but like, is that enough? I mean, they have nothing else. And when you have nothing else, you probably can stop him. And again, a lot of the game plan goes out the window because of the weather. Get out of here, Jeff. Unsolved Mysteries had real cases too. Yeah, I don't listen. To me, first 48 is on a level of its own. It just is. Sorry, man. And listen, I think it got devalued Unsolved Mysteries because we threw in dumb alien crap. Like I don't need that. I don't need extra fluff. Just give me a body on the street and a detective goes and tries to figure it out. Nutflush Allen says, tell me you're not pissed at the end when they don't catch the guy. It doesn't happen often, and generally, they revisit it. And that's another thing I like about First 48. They revisit old cases. And I always find it a little bit poetic that they don't catch the people. Because it's not every murder prosecution you get. Like, I know of mob murders that happened in the 40s that are still unsolved. Jimmy Hoffa, which is in the 70s. That happens. It's not a perfect science. Who's the best first 48 city, though? To me, it's Tulsa. No question. All right. Steelers and Bills. If the number's above 10, I don't know how you don't take the Steelers. I think their Bills are overvalued. I really do. How many games do they ever blow anybody out? Every game they play is close. It's the playoffs. This is another weather game. Okay, going to be snowing, rough. 10 points going to be nice to have in your back pocket. Another game that's going to be very low score, like we saw with the Jets last week. And having 10 in your back pocket is going to be very nice. I know TJ Watt's not going to play, but again, players aren't going to, I think, matter as much here. It's weather. It's the elements. This number's 10.5 now down to 9.5. Very sharp money is on the Steelers. I like the Steelers. Very high winds and cold in Buffalo could be slow and methodical. Steelers 1-10 without Watt in his career. But I think they win the game for sure. Keep the ball on the ground. Keep the ball in Josh Allen's hands. And we know Josh is good for some mistakes. That's what he does. And again, if you're going to give me 10, I'll be all over that. A.J. Brown out for the Eagles. Is that just what you think, or do you know that? Okay, she's out, according to ESPN. Nice call. Who was that? Who said that? Mike Wilkerson. Thank you. I think we all alluded and thought that he would be out. Yeah, I think he's very unhappy, but I also think he's not healthy either. Green Bay and Dallas. I didn't love this game. I didn't have much on it. I felt like 7 was sorry, guys. Bear with me 1 second. I'm talking like for an hour gets to me. So I'm going to wrap this up here pretty soon. But I feel like this is a few too many points. Sorry.
Just getting all the demons out, everyone. The demons are here. They're out.
Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. I'm melting on air. Let me just get through this quick. I like Green Bay. I'm battling through. I don't have any water. I'm battling through. Jose, take over, will you?
Yes, I got you. No problem. Nadu's gone. It's me on the program now. It's nice to see everyone. Packers, Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys, obviously, for our confidence picks, and I forgot how many points I put in there. So shout out to everyone that did join the confidence meter in there. It was nice to have like 30 people, I believe, in there as well. So thank you guys, as always, for joining the confidence pool. But I had them in there. I believe I have them for 10 plus points. And it was a pretty easy decision for me, at least, confidence wise. Spread wise, I still go back and forth, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if this was a Cowboys blowout. So I agree there. Ryan Kozlowski, who does my hair, actually nobody. It's a tough hair day. I've been called kid and play recently, so I do need to do something with the flow. And I'm sorry for the luminescent background right there as well. Billy Friedrich put 10 on the Cowboys. It's nice to see that. Sean Higgs, it's nice to see you as well there. But yeah, I mean, I think Cowboys might end up blowing this Packers team out that was feeling good about themselves earlier in the show or earlier in the year. Jeff, welcome back. It's nice to see you. The Demons gone? Ooh, hold on. There we go. You got you muted over there as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
I think when you talk in a row, you get a little coffee. And the thing is, like, I'm feeling better. I just have the little cough, But all right, let's get through this quickly. I like the Packers a little bit here. Thought 7 was a little too many. Jordan Love has had a really good season. Let's just be honest with ourselves. He's been really solid. Great defense. Going to go on the road. Dallas is going to be popping. But Green Bay, solid defense in their own right. Like I said, I didn't have much in this one. If you made me play it, I'd lean Green Bay. Another game where Green Bay, are they just kind of happy to be there? Probably will lose. I think Dallas would be a good teaser option for a lot of people. You have to wonder if Mike McCarthy loses this game. Bill Belichick, maybe? We'll see. Cowboys at home is play on, not play again. Of course, sure. I think the Cowboys will win, surely. But 7's a lot different than just winning. If McCarthy loses this game, loses his job, agreed. All right, Detroit, LA. Over. Who stops who in this game? 2 top 5 red zone offenses, 2 great quarterbacks, playmakers all over the field. Nakua, Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 2 defenses I don't love. Obviously, the Rams are a better defense, but Detroit can't stop anybody. Over. And it's up to 52. What's next? Final game. Eagles, Bucks. I don't believe the Eagles can go on the road and win a game. I just don't. I think they're in an awful predicament. I think there's going to be a lot of changes on this team. And Tampa playing with confidence. They got Mike Evans. He could have a big game over the middle for this group against the Eagles. Defense is a mess. They can't get to the quarterback. I don't believe the Eagles can go on the road and win a game. I like the Bucks. I also like the under a little bit. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this thing up. I apologize. Just trying to get over feeling not great. I only have so much I can do. And we've been on for about an hour, which is what we do. I'm going to go get some tea, hopefully, get a little fruit in my body, feel a bit better. Maybe see a little sun, which would be nice. Go out and feel the sun on my face, get a little vitamin D. You guys all have a great day. Thank you for watching. In college basketball, Houston TCU under. I like A&M. I think they beat Kentucky. And I'm going to go with Auburn plus 13.5 against LSU. Penn State Purdue over the posted total. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all. Have a good day. Thank you for being here. We'll be back Saturday. I'm hoping, feeling better. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.